wa kuheshimiwa ni wewe Mungu, wa kupewa sifa na utukufu ni wewe Mungu, wa kuabudiwa, wa kuheshimiwa ni wewe Mungu, wa kupewa sifa na utukufu ni wewe Mungu, wa kuabudiwa, wa kuabudiwa, wa kuheshimiwa ni wewe, ni wewe, wa kupewa sifa, wa kupewa sifa, utukufu ni wewe, ni wewe, oh Mungu mwenye nguvu, Mungu mwenye nguvu, wastahili heshima, heshima. Oh, nani kama wewe, nani kama wewe, oh, hakuna. Oh, Mungu mwenye nguvu, Mungu mwenye nguvu, wastahili heshima zangu. Oh, nani kama wewe, nani kama wewe. Haleluya, haleluya. Umesema wewe jina lako niko niliko Mungu, unatupandisha utukufu hadi utukufu Mungu, ukisema ndio, nani awezaye kupinga? Hakuna wa kuabudiwa, wa kuabudiwa, ni wewe, ni wewe, nani kama wewe, nani kama wewe, wa kulinganishwa, sijaona mwingine kama wewe Yesu. Oh, nani kama wewe, nani kama wewe, hakuna, hakuna, hakuna. Oh, Mungu mwenye nguvu, Mungu mwenye nguvu, haleluya, haleluya, haleluya. Mpe tu Bwana maabudu asubuhi ya leo, mpe Bwana maabudu yako asubuhi ya leo. Mwambie hakuna kama wewe Mungu ishie milele. Na ukisema ndio, ni nani atapinga? Ukisema ndio, hakuna wa kupinga. Haleluya. Mpe Yesu maabudu yako asubuhi ya leo. Mwambie Yesu hakuna kama wewe. Haleluya, haleluya. Oh. Oh, Mungu mwenye nguvu, Mungu mwenye nguvu, wastahili heshima zangu.
born to worship together with us. Thank you very much. God bless you. Of course, we continue with the music together with the team, and we'll be getting to share and engaging, and that will be a great blessing. Great gospel. This is church, all right? So karibu sana. Welcome to church. You're on KTN Home, Sunday best. It's good to have you. Thank you very much for making time to be here with us. We're talking about leadership and development. That's what we are talking about today. And like I told you earlier, we'll be having Reverend Vida. Reverend Vida, of course, from Rema. I confuse this between Bible College. So Rema Bible Training College. He's the director of Rema Bible Training College right here in Kenya. He has spoken about leadership, in many forums, and that is something that he's very passionate about. Reverend Vida, karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
You're good?
Yes.
Every time we have a conversation and you speak Swahili, your Swahili comes out very, very, very nice. So karibu sana.
Asante.
Other guys will say asante. I like you, asante. Just take that again.
Asante.
Asante.
Sana.
Asante sana. All right. It's good to have you, sir.
Very good to be here.
And probably we'll just get to know more about yourself. You have lived in Kenya for a while now.
Yeah, we've been here since 2006, on and off through the years.
All right.
Yes, so it's been some years now.
Lovely.
Yes.
Originally, you're from the U.S.
Originally from Norway,
All right.
although I trained in the U.S.
Right.
So I've spent since 93 to 2006, I was in the U.S. So
All right.
spent quite some years there as well. Yes. Yeah.
So you, of course, you're a graduate of Rema Training Bible College.
Yes.
As
yes.
well.
Yes.
In just a minute or so, take us through that journey and what inspired you to pursue that specific line, and the line of training and leadership?
Well, I've known since I was a young boy that my life would be about helping people.
Wow.
And so growing up my teenage years, I was searching for a training program that can really help me develop.
All right.
And I wasn't looking for a program that would develop you theoretically, tell you what's in the book.
Yes.
I wanted to hear from somebody who was successful in their field. And from that, I came to Kenneth E. Hagin's Rhema Bible Training College in Tulsa, Oklahoma, USA. From there, also went through Oral Roberts University in Tulsa as well. Obtained my training there, and then I came here to Kenya in 2006 to help people.
How has the experience been, from Norway, beautiful Scandinavian country, to the U.S. and now to Kenya?
Well, I have enjoyed those transitions.
Right.
I truly have. Coming to the U.S., there was a lot of things I learned there about developing yourself, about being productive in life, about not being looking for somebody else's resources to help you, but to develop resourcefulness within yourself.
Right.
Coming to Kenya, the hospitality, the warmness of people here. I'm still here.
Right.
I like it.
And you'll be here for a while.
That is the plan.
All right. So we are just from the elections. A lot has happened.
Sure.
The dust has settled.
Yeah.
You see, now it is no longer about my party leader, my member of parliament, my president. That is important. But there is a part that each one of us has to play to develop oneself.
Correct.
So let's begin right there.
Yeah.
How do I get to identify that there is something in me, there is a leader in me, and I need to pursue this to the next level?
Yeah. That's a really good question. I believe that within every single one of us, there is leadership potential.
Interesting.
I believe that God has created every single person to be a leader.
All right.
Now, being a leader is not telling everybody else what to do. It would be a little chaotic if everybody is trying to tell everybody else what to do.
Oh, yes.
That's more management. Leadership is influence.
Okay.
And when somebody builds within themselves qualities in their own personal life that other people want, well, now you've become an example. That's influence. That's leadership.
Right.
And so, and leaders at all levels and at all stages, we reproduce ourselves. You know, when you come to parenting, you can tell a child what to do, but when that child grows up, they will do what they saw the parents do, not what they heard them.
Right.
And so leadership is more about just instilling into others. The most important principle there is to start working on the person in the mirror, myself.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that. Leadership is influence. And what you're saying is, in whichever way, wherever you are, you can influence.
Absolutely. You know, I think of an example at Rhema Bible Church, my home church, about 300 employees. And I've heard many, many secular vendors come into the church and say, and comment on the washrooms. The washrooms are so clean, you can eat food off the floor. I've heard many people say that.
Right.
And I think to myself, well, that cleaning was done by the cleaning crew. Usually we think of the cleaning crew at the bottom of the ladder.
The
so to
pyramid,
speak,
right.
Of the pyramid, or however you want to say that.
Yeah.
But we have pastors coming from all over the country. We have pastors coming from even internationally.
Right.
To see how cleanliness is done at that church.
Wow.
Which to me means that the cleaning personnel at the church, they are influencer of other institutions all over the world.
Amazing.
And so it is absolutely possible to be a street sweeper and at the same time to be an influencer in that particular field.
Wow. I mean, you're demystifying it very well from what you've known, like you mentioned. As a leader, I need to be the one on top. But yet, wherever you are, you're influencing. So how do I then get to know that there is something in me? And how do I nurture that so that I can influence better?
Yeah, and those are excellent questions. I believe that good leadership starts with a journey of personal growth in ourselves.
Okay.
So the question becomes, how do I grow myself?
Right.
How do I develop qualities and traits? Or maybe how do I polish the skills or the personalities that God has given me and develop those things to become an influencer, to develop them to such a level that somebody wants what we have.
Yeah.
You know, God has given us His life. Jesus came to give us life and give us life abundantly.
That's right.
So those things have already been deposited in us, but they need to be developed until they start coming out.
Right.
One of the stories that I think about from Scripture, you think about King David. And of course, typically people go to 1 Samuel chapter 17, the story of David and Goliath, and how this kid could take out the giant who had been a war machine from his youth, and yet David is just in his youth.
Right.
I think a lot of people forget that the story does not start with Goliath. It starts in earlier chapters, and one of the experiences that David had is he was shepherding his father's sheep. Samuel comes to visit, the prophet Samuel that is, comes to visit the family.
Right.
So, you know, for the family, it's the biggest event of a lifetime. It's way bigger than Christmas. All the brothers are invited. David is not even invited to the party.
Right.
And the prophet Samuel says, not this one, and going through all the various sons of Jesse.
Right.
David is out in the field. But we find out later that while David is out in that field shepherding those sheep, he takes out the lion and the bear. Well, that's going above and beyond expectations when nobody's looking. And that is where leadership starts.
Wow.
You put upon yourself that I'm going to expect highly of myself. You know, it's not fair to expect highly of other people if we're not expecting highly of ourselves. That's not good leadership.
Right.
So it starts with whatever we are doing when nobody is looking. And now you're talking about character.
Right. Wow.
Because you know, you can look at any distribution system. I look at the typical leadership we talk about. It's almost like a distribution system of a product.
Right.
Well, the same company can deliver quality products, and they can have some products that are not good for you. Look at the beverage industry. Some of the beverages that are being delivered are positive. Some of the beverages that are being delivered are not positive. The distribution system is the same, and that's leadership. You can have somebody who is not good, but they're using skillful leadership techniques.
Right.
And that's really, really dangerous.
Amazing.
You have to start with the quality of what we deliver, and that is ourselves. So you've got to start with the character. And there's a couple things about King David which enabled him. One, he worshipped God out in those fields. Could even help the king as a result, playing the harp. We know about that.
Yeah.
We know about the work ethics because the lion and the bear. It's not expected for a shepherd to take out the lion and the bear. I don't know a lot of shepherds that expects that of themselves, and a lot of employers that expects that of the shepherds.
Yeah.
But David so he goes above and beyond what is expected
of him. Right.
Then he had a wonderful opportunity to be offended because he wasn't invited to the family's, the biggest party that this family has ever experienced.
Imagine.
He's not even invited. So the normal expectation is for him to be offended.
Right.
But he doesn't allow the circumstances or the environment or what other people have done to him, he doesn't allow that to affect him to such an extent that he gets offended.
Right.
Then you harbor the offense and it turns into bitterness, and you harbor the bitterness and it turns into anger, and now it's very difficult to be helpful for anybody.
That's right. Wow. You know what? This conversation can go on and on. I love the principle about character. And what happens when other people are not seeing? Last week, we had the Berlin Marathon. Of course, Eliud Kipchoge broke the world record. You know what? When he was just about to get to the finish line, I loved what the commentator said. All the sacrifices, all the early mornings, all the dieting, everything that we never saw is culminating right here.
Right.
A few seconds to him breaking the world record.
That's right.
And that's so powerful, that the things that you get to do and the character that is molded and developed, that is leadership right there.
Yeah, it's so easy to look at overnight success stories.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
There is no such thing.
Oh, my goodness.
You look at a company like Microsoft, and all of a sudden it looks like they came out of nowhere in the late 80s.
Right.
Well, they didn't start in the late 80s. They started 10 years before, doing all kinds of things that nobody was looking at.
Right.
And that truly is how success, how leadership starts. It starts with what we demand of ourselves.
Right.
When nobody else is looking.
I love it. Let's pose it at that. What we demand of ourselves when no one else is looking at that.
Yeah.
You have, we will give you an opportunity to further this conversation, and I'm sure we'll pull you in again later on so that we can just get to engage more. You have done quite a number of books. I love that. This is a gift you've given me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
A fork in the road, and choose poverty or prosperity.
It's a choice.
Yeah,
it's a
choice.
It doesn't come by luck.
Wow.
I climbed Kilimanjaro.
Oh, really?
Here, it's a couple of years ago.
Wow.
And there's a very simple principle if you want to reach the top of that mountain.
Yes.
You keep on taking one more step in the path of the most resistance.
Wow. One more step in the path of most resistance.
Yes, I've been to Oloitokitok many times. I've not yet found a person who lives there that have been to the top of the mountain. And there's one thing they all have in common.
Right.
They don't want the path of that resistance.
Yeah.
That's just a simple example of a mountain, but it's the same principle with success. Those who are at the top of a mountain, they did not fall there.
Right.
They did something to get there that the majority of people are not willing to do.
Come on. I love it. So. Beautiful principles. All right, so we get to engage more. If we want these books, please, as you share, you can tell us how we can get these books, just as you begin to share the other segment.
Yeah, sure.
But thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to hear very I have something to run with and that will make a difference in my own life, all right? So we take a break, a music break. We'll be having, of course, Born to Worship team joining us. Later on, we will, of course, again invite Reverend Vida.
It's a good old Viking name.
Yes.
Trouble for some tongues.
Right. So he'll be joining us just to share and to further the conversation on leadership and development. So don't go too far. Born to Worship, tuko tayari? Yes, let's do it. Great.
Mwamba, Yesu mwamba, wacha nitangaze sifa zako.
Mwamba ni Yesu
Mwamba, Yesu mwamba, wacha nitangaze sifa zako.
Mwamba ni Yesu.
Mwamba, Yesu mwamba, wacha nitangaze sifa zako.
Sema mwamba Yesu.
Mwamba, Yesu mwamba, wacha nitangaze sifa zako.
Kama si mkono wako,
Basi mkono wako ingekuwa wapi?
kama si mkono wako Bwana,
Basi mkono wako ingekuwa wapi?
kama si upendo wako,
Basi upendo wako
yeah.
ingekuwa wapi?
Kama si upendo wako, kama si baraka zako,
Baraka zako ingekuwa wapi?
kama si baraka zako,
Basi baraka zako ingekuwa wapi?
Are you ready to dance for the Lord? Go! Tip, 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 tip. Hey, hey. Ho. Hey, hey. 1, 2, 3, go! Hey, 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 hey. Tena. Launch. 1, 2, 3, go! Umeniweka juu ya mwamba palipo na nafasi,
Umeniweka mahali pa juu.
umenitenga na dhoruba Baba,
Umeniweka mahali pa juu.
umenitenga na dhoruba Baba,
Umeniweka mahali pa juu.
nimesimama juu ya mwamba palipo na nafasi,
Umeniweka mahali pa juu.
na dhoruba
Umeniweka